It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello to all. Welcome to Divas That Care Network. I am Joyce Benning, and I will be your host for this truly invigorating, robust lifestyle show. I am just overly excited today to have with me my monthly returning diva, Beth Lauren Parrish, and we are going to chat about playing with energy to enhance your horse time. Oh man, is this ever going to be fun? With just the word horse and energy in there, it totally touches my heart. So, Beth, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners today?
Absolutely. Thanks again for having me, Joyce. I'm Beth Lauren Parrish, and my business is Inspired Riding. I'm a remote coach, certified riding instructor, and animal communicator. And I help remind equestrians to slow down, trust their intuition, and listen to their horses so they can have the best co-creative dances possible.
Oh, I love that. Listen to your horse and have that co-creative dance. Every time you talk about this, I'm just like dancing with my horse. I just love that thought. What a great partner to dance with. I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, it's one of the best, that's for sure. Well, as we start into playing with energy to enhance your horse time, how would you like to start this topic to share with our listeners today, Beth?
When you talk about playing with energy, you have to understand that all of us are made up of energy. And what you want to do is first become aware of what your energy is doing. So the first thing you do is you literally just sit and get quiet and breathe and notice where your energy is. So I like the analogy of thinking about your body filled with water. Many times I'll get very excited, and so my energy is literally like bubbling over and steaming out of my head. I'm sure some of you can relate if you've got a lot of things going on in your life and you're just, thinking about and so you have to take a deep breath and breathe all the way down to the bottoms of your feet and try to settle that water within and try to get to where you imagine a pond and there's no more ripples. It's just very still. And then once you get to that still point, and it might take a while, you should notice how you feel. Some people will feel amazing and love it right away. Other people might feel really uncomfortable and they might start to fidget or, let their mind wander or think, oh, this is silly, I need to do other things. But that's when you definitely know you need to do it more. So when you get to that still point, it's really, really beautiful to, once you notice how you feel, notice how your horse responds to you. And then from there, you can see if your horse really enjoys that quiet energy, or if they're in a little bit of a playful mode, they might want you to start to create some ripples, maybe create some waves from within your energy. And that could just be just a little shift in your thinking about getting excited about something, and then they'll help create some bubbles within. Or you could even just allow your breath to get just a little bit quicker. But then always see if you can come back to your still point and let that kind of be like your home base. So it's definitely something you need to practice, and I'm forever working on this one little piece because I tend to get really bubbly, and my pony loves it, and we get really excited, but I wanted to share what happened yesterday. So yesterday was the spring equinox here, and there was a lot of energy floating around, and it was demonstrated especially that we had a lot of wind. And I noticed even that morning before I went to feed Pepper that he was pushing Indy around like before it was even breakfast time. It was cooler, of course, but that wind up the tail just makes him all excited like a little kite. And so he's running around and just really excitable. So when it came time for me to play with him, there were a lot of birds that were coming very close to the arena, and that was not very usual. Like, we have some crows and some hawks that were just kind of hanging out. And I noticed that, and then I started to play with him like we usually do, and we were running around, and then he got so excited he had to run away from the arena all the way back to the shelter, get a drink, and then he casually came back, and I thought, whoa, he's really amped up. So that should have been my clue that perhaps I should try to work more on my still point and get quiet instead of feeding the fire of the energy, right? So I brushed him for a while, and he seemed okay with that. And then I let him go again, and we walked around some more just at liberty. And then when it was coming time for me to see if he'd let me ride him, I walked back to my saddle, and I picked up my saddle pad, and he was in the middle of the arena just staring at me. And so that's where I really started to practice getting to my still point and just getting super quiet and just focus on my breathing, and then feeling that heart open, sending my love to him as I got really quiet. And It was so amazing. It was like instant biofeedback. As soon as I felt like I was clicked into that still point, he walked towards me. And then as soon as I started letting my mind wander and thinking about something else, he stopped. I was like, whoa, this is working. So long story short, it worked beautifully until he reached his threshold where I was finally able to get on him. But he was still really kind of amped up. And we had a blue jay that just started going crazy in the tree. Like, it would not stop screaming. And he just couldn't handle it. So he started to toss his head a little. And that's usually the indication where he's saying, I'm about to let the steam out of the pot, Mom. So I got off him quite quickly. That was the first time that my adrenaline got really big with him, because usually he and I are simpatico and I have no problem with him. But he started to spin around me, and I couldn't even get his saddle off. My husband had to come and help me untack him. And I was like, this is not my normal steady pony. So I learned a big lesson just from that. Like, okay, maybe we should have just kept it to the groundwork today. And, so you're always learning no matter what. And in every relationship, every day is going to feel a little bit different. So it's so important just to notice your energy and notice your horse's energy. So at that point, I should have realized, it's a little high. I should have just stayed at my calm, still point and not pushed it. Has that ever happened to you before?
Oh, I see it in my horses, too. I mean, I'll see them, even just like this morning, I think, because it's windy here. We have a weather. I notice it a lot when we have weather changes come in, and with the wind, too. They seem to be more amped up, more hyper. Because this morning, usually my mare, she just loves me to love on her and stuff in the mornings when I feed her. And this morning it was like a little bit, and I'm done. Okay, I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to walk over here to this other feed bucket, or no, this isn't the morning where I want this. And I could just feel it in myself that she was trying to tell me I'm a little bit not antsy, but I'm just a little bit more on edge this morning because of with the weather changes coming in and all the wind and everything. And I was like, okay, girl, I respect it. You need to eat. You need to just kind of do your own thing, and tomorrow will be better, or later today will be better. So I can totally relate to what you're saying. Tell us if we just open up and listen to what they're telling us. And it is so beautiful when you have that connection and can see that with them. And she reminds me of what you're saying about Pepper. My mare is very obvious to what she is thinking and how she wants you to react to her too. So yeah. And like you said, Pepper was kind of telling you he was amped up yesterday.
He was what we call extra,
That's so right.
The beautiful thing is, after we untacked him, he still wanted to do his normal selfies. He was like, yeah, let's do that. I'm like, okay. Then he walked away, and then he came back, and then he had this look like, I feel bad. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm like, I looked at him like, it's really okay, Pepper. These things happen. That wasn't your fault at all. And he's like, okay. And he looked like he was embarrassed, you know, and it was very sweet. I just told him how much I loved him and appreciated him. And I was like, yeah, tomorrow will be another day. Like you said, it's so good to know, you know, things will happen. We all make mistakes. We all, like, might not make the best decisions in the moment, but hopefully, knock on wood, we all stay safe and we can move on and focus on what could be better next time. And that's how we learn.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly how we learn. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next step.
So.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the next step to this is when you're riding and you're really what I call plugged into the saddle and really connected to your horse. That's where you can really play with the energy during your transitions, especially. Like if you're working on really dialing in the upward transitions, that's where you can like get to your still point and then just allow the energy to bubble up, and that will help your horse feel that upward energy as if you're going up a hill, and that'll help create some more excitement for them to step into the next gate, you know, in your upward transition. And then for your downward transition, you can breathe back to your still point, and that'll also help your balance. And then the other thing you can do, you can learn a little bit of equestrian Tai Chi. That's something that I've been certified in level 1. And the more you do these beautiful movements, it helps balance your energy. And you can start with it just learning it on the ground, and then when you feel safe, someone can hold your horse, and you can do it at the standstill. And then if you feel comfortable, if your horse is really steady, you can just let the reins go and just do it at the standstill for just a few minutes at a time. And the more you do these movements and connect to your energy, then your horse will feel that you're connecting to your energy, and they'll appreciate that because they know, oh, now you're meeting me on the same plane, because they're always in that energetic field and they're connected to it and aware of it, and they realize that humans sometimes forget and they need to be reminded. So just doing these little movements really is a beautiful thing to do to get us back into our bodies and become aware of what our energy is doing. And it's very simple when you learn. So that's something I'm excited about continuing to teach my students.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that is great. And you called that, you're certified in Tai Chi?
It's called Equestrian Tai Chi, and the creator is Jenny Pim, and I learned from her, and she's a phenomenal instructor, and she certifies riding instructors in this program, and it's just wonderful.
Oh, my goodness. And it's basically just kind of different movements and ways to connect better with your horse when you practice them.
Yeah, and then once you learn the movements, you understand the reasoning for them, and then you get more in tune with your body, and then your horse starts to move better because you're actually more aware of your body and become less of a burden because you're more balanced, you know, mind, body, spirit, all balanced in that point. And it's a beautiful thing to feel. And then you can start riding around with that awareness, and then everything gets smoother and more fun for both of you.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yes, that is so true, because when I always feel that when whatever you are feeling, if you're tensed up on that horse, it's just going to make the horse tensed up. And if you can be relaxed and know what your body is doing, it will make it so much more. You can it's easier to dance with your horse when you're both knowing, when you realize what your body is doing and what vibes you are giving off to your horse. Is that kind of the way you feel too with this equestrian Tai Chi?
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely getting you to feel like you know what your energy is doing, and then your horse will say, now we can move together on the same dance floor. Because sometimes if you're not aware, like you're at the discotheque and he's at the line dancing place. It's like, we need to sync up, right?
Exactly.
I guess that's a fun analogy to think of. So, and then once you're on the same dance floor, in the same playing field, then it's like everything just kicks in, and you can just think of it literally as like plugging into the saddle. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Avatar, where they literally connect into their being that flies around with them that looks like a horse. I forgot the names of them, but that's the feeling. It's like you just become one. And the more aware you are of not only your body and where your thoughts are, but where your energy is, your horses are just going to appreciate you so much more because you're working on that awareness. And even if you don't get it quite right, but if you're reaching for that awareness, then they'll appreciate you because they know that you're working towards getting there with them. I mean, they feel every nuance inside of us. That's the coolest thing about riding and connecting with these horses. It's so subtle, and I love playing with these little nuances. It's like having all these different puzzle pieces, and then like one just clicks in. You're like, oh yeah, okay, the edges are coming together. This is getting exciting, you know. So, and they feel that too, and they're like, yeah, there's just a few more pieces in the middle, and then our puzzle will be complete, and we can, you know, do our canter pirouettes. You know, you just never know what it is you want to do next. But it's just there at the ready when you're that connected and linked up. And it's something people don't always talk about. Like they talk a lot about position, you know, a lot about your mindset. But this is very much more of your heart set and your energy and where you're putting it. So you always just come back to the breath. The breath is going to help you figure out where your energy is. So if you're holding your breath, that's obviously not the best choice. I do a lot of talking to Pepper. I do a lot of singing. So that helps keep the breath moving, and it gets me to settle back into my body. And then I also do a lot of just little scratches on his neck here and there, and that helps just bring me back to being present with him and not thinking about, like, what I have to do that evening.
Right. It helps me to be back present in the moment with my horse and connect more on that heart-to-heart level and just kind of, I do a lot of that. I love to hug my horses, and I'll hug them and love on them, and it just brings you back to the moment. It's just like, oh my goodness. And it's just, for me, it's such a relaxing, calming feeling too. And then you realize how much you are letting go of, and what I'm thinking of then is just about my horse and how we're connecting, and not all the other things, like you said, that you have to do when you're done here or what has to get done yet today. You're in the moment with them, and I truly feel that's what my horses love. They love to have me be right there in the moment where they're at, and I love that.
Oh, yes, and they love it too, and they love when you're being present and being pulled into their world. And just another example, when I was playing with Pepper yesterday, we were doing great, and as soon as I pulled out my phone to film him, that's when he ran away. He was like, nope, you're not being present. I mean, it's so clear. I was like, okay, we are not doing that again. I will make sure the phone is on a tripod far away from you. Got it.
Yep. I can relate to that, because if I take my phone out around my horses, it's like they're ignoring me. It's like, okay, I'm done with you. If you think you got to have that phone now, then you're not with me, so I'm done. It is so amazing. So I'm like, okay, my phone can wait. Nothing that important. It'll wait until I'm done out with my horses, and then I'll get to whatever I need to do else on my phone. But I have noticed that too. They are very, very much aware of what you are doing, and I love that.
It's amazing. I love how clear they are. And it's so cool because when I do the selfies, I know that Pepper can see himself. So he thinks that's really interesting. So he's like posing, doing his little cameos for the world. He's hilarious. So. But as soon as I turn it around, he's like, nope, you're not with me. So it's so good to be aware and be respectful of your energy and their energy, because you know, you're in a relationship with them. It's very similar to humans. Like if you're having a nice chat and then all of a sudden you just put up your phone and like totally zone out, it's just very rude. So and that's it. Right. Basically he was saying, it's really rude, I'm out of here. So
they let you know. They're in no uncertain terms. They let you know if you're paying attention to them, and I just think that is so awesome. It is so awesome how they pick up so on what our energy is giving off. To me, they zone right into that, and they can feel it. Like I've said so many other times, they know my energy and what's happening in my world long before I ever get out to them, because I feel they know it. They can feel it, sense it. They're so intuitive, and they pay so much attention to that that's just them. It just comes natural to them, where a lot of us humans have to work at going through that and listening to our intuitions and finding our energy levels and stuff. And for them, it comes natural. That's what I'm always amazed. It's just so beautiful how it just falls into place with them.
Absolutely. They're beautiful models for us. So if we just come back to being with them more, we'll be able to, I say I fumble my way through and figure it out. But my biggest goal now is to start playing with those different energy levels just by sitting near your horse and notice what they gravitate towards. So they might gravitate towards coming towards you when you get to your still point, or they might get curious when you create more bubbles and ripples inside. Like they might go, ooh, I want to play, So every horse is going to be different, and especially they're going to be different in each moment, depending on whether, they're just really chill right then, or they're very curious and playful at the moment. So I would just really experiment as much as possible and see what feels comfortable for you, what feels comfortable for your horse. And then once you have that data, then you can start to play around with different levels to help enhance your horse time. So.
Oh, yes, definitely. Because when you are paying attention to what you're in, when you start, to me, it's the start, like you said in the beginning, you breathe and get into what your energies are. And then the horses already know that. And then, like yesterday, your experience with Pepper, that was such a great experience to be able to share with our listeners today. And also the water. I thought that was a great example of the ripples on the water, too, or just in total calmness, because the horses experience different energies too. Just like I said this morning with the weather changes coming in, I can always tell they act a little bit different when there's the weather coming in. Their energy levels are in a different field than what they are when we're having a nice, beautiful, calm day. So they sense it just like we do, and it just takes us longer to figure it out than it does them.
Absolutely. Yep. I always kind of joke, like, once we get there, our horse will look at us and go, oh, there you are. Like, you've been standing there the whole time, but they just finally sigh and go, oh, you finally come into your body, and now I can really see you. It's a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. It is beautiful. I agree. It is a wonderful thing to discover. And I always think, I bet the horses are the patience that they have to have with us humans for us to get to these levels. They probably take a sigh of breath and go, oh, she finally got here, or they finally made it to where they need to be. I'm sure they're going, oh my goodness, it takes them so much longer than it does us. So their patient level is very, very strong. I always feel that they have a very strong patient level with us humans.
I agree. I'm so grateful for them. And they're such willing creatures. They're incredible. That's another reason I teach the really basic, what I call horse sigh to humans. I'm like, when in doubt, if you feel like you can't come back in your body, just take a big sigh and flap your lips like a horse, like this. and then that helps bring you back. And then usually they'll do the same and go, oh, good. And I know Pepper does that while I'm riding to remind me to breathe. Mm-hmm. So he'll start doing some horse eyes, and then I'll do them sometimes when I feel like he's getting a little tense, and then he does it. So it's just really beautiful back and forth, a reminder, hey, let's relax and come back into our bodies and soften. So, yes.
That is a neat way to explain it, too. I love that because, yeah, they do that all the time. A lot of times they're doing that. And then when they respond back and forth like that, like you said, it reminds you that you need to breathe and just kind of relax a little bit. And, oh, that is just amazing. I just love how you explain how to create this dance with your horses. And like you said in the very beginning, we're all about energy. They're all about energy too. We're all made up of energy. And so our energy and their energy and just synchronizing it and bringing it together to have that beautiful co-creative dance that we can have with them is just, it's magnificent when you're beyond words is how I describe it with a horse.
It truly is. And yeah, when I get to that level and I just, as soon as I sit in the saddle, it feels like I've come home. And home meaning just my energy is just so happy and relaxed and at peace, because that's just the most beautiful gift that they can give us is to let us ride them. So I think it's just amazing. And then I just wanted to also note, you can play with your energy from the ground if you're working with a horse in hand or just doing some lunging or free lunging. You can almost imagine like that water energy is coming from your belly, sending to the drive line. And if you want them to settle, you can imagine the water settling down without any ripples. If you want to create energy and invite them to move out, you can create a little ripple effect, or imagine creating waves, and then you can also imagine, pulling a tugboat in from your belly, with the water, bringing them in when you want them to come back to you. So there's lots of little ways you can play nuances about it. And then you can also just imagine, you're sending the water in the direction you want to go. I also imagine when I'm riding that we're in a body of water and that the horse is filled with water and you don't want any leaks. And that helps you kind of steer them around and connect with your body. So that way, if your horse is wandering out to the right, you can make sure you're closing your right leg and bringing your energy a little bit more to the left, so then they close up the leak there, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, so yeah, definitely.
It's really fun.
Oh, I just love that. I love that you gave the ground tips, too, along with the riding tips, and it just gives them an all-around how they can start from the very, very beginning at the ground level, working with them and on up to where you... Mm-hmm.
Yes, totally.
That is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Well, once again, Beth, this interview has just flown by with all the amazing information you have shared for our listeners today. I've loved every moment of it. And I want to ask, so you can tell our listeners, what is the best way to connect with you if there's a listener, and I know there's listeners out there saying, wow, I want to learn more from Beth Lauren Parrish. What is the best way for them to connect with you, Beth?
Oh, thank you so much for that, Joyce. I really love being on this podcast with you. If people want to get a hold of me, the easiest way is to go to my website, inspiredriding.com, and there is a contact page, and they can email me there. They can also find me on Instagram at Inspired Riding, as well as Facebook. And I also have a really fun Facebook group that's free. There's over 1,600 members in there. So if you just put in the search Inspired Riders, and you should find it there as well. Or just email me, and I'll be happy to send you a link. There's also a free mini course that you can get up on the website, and it's all the way at the bottom once you get to the home site. And when you click on that, you can get 5 lessons to connect with your horse better. It's called the Powerful Bond mini course. And then you'll be on the email list, and you'll have all the links to join the group and all that. And you can email me that way as well. So, yep, there's many ways.
Oh, how awesome. Oh, thank you so much for sharing all those connection ways. That is incredible, Beth. Well, and I just want to thank you again, and I love having you on my Robust Lifestyle show. I look forward to it every time you're coming on, because I know we're just going to have a great time, and you're going to share incredible information. So I, as a host, thank you so much for being on my show.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Oh, well, and you have yourself a magical day today.
Thank you, you too, and may the horse be with you always.
Oh, thank you, and same to you.
Thank you.
And you are so welcome. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank all of our listeners that have tuned in live to this interview and the ones that will be listening on all the different podcast platforms. I am just so very grateful for each one of you. And be sure to share this amazing, amazing interview with Beth Lauren Parrish with all of your family and friends. And she will be back in another month to share some more incredible information on robust lifestyles. And be sure to check out all the hosts and their shows on divasthatcare.com. Have a fantastic day. And remember, co-create a dance with your horse through energy from what Beth was sharing in this interview. And give your animals a great big hug. Share all your love with them. Be kind to all. And until we connect again on Robust Lifestyles, stay strong and healthy.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.